Well, 5 freedoms: religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. You know, as I mentioned at the outset, when we do the survey, it's actually only this year 3 out of 100 Americans who can name all 5, so you did very well here. You could do it all in this room. Amazing how so many of us have forgotten the beauty of those freedoms and how really so consistently they have kept this nation on a path of progress. I mean, if you think about it, what topples nation, what causes revolutions? Well, as we know all too well, much of the strife around the planet really revolves around religion. And while in this country we're certainly debating the finer points of how to apply that freedom, from Sumner County, where we're debating whether to hand out Bibles in classes, to this community, where there's a question of whether you can build a mosque or not. Those issues are hotly debated. But the Founding Fathers tried to take the absolute underpinnings of that strife off the table by declaring that as a nation, we would honor every faith. If you think about what else topples governments, when governments are corrupt and when they're remote, the Founding Fathers addressed that by giving us a free press to serve as a watchdog on those government officials, how they were spending money and what policies they were enacting. What else leads to revolutions or turmoil in a country? It's a sense of frustration among people, frustration we're seeing today. But the First Amendment gives people the right to speak out, to petition for change, to assemble in the public square in a manner that I haven't seen in 20 or 30 years, to ask for change, to demand that wrongs be corrected. You know, when conservatives feel threatened or ignored by the Congress or the President, they don't have to turn to armed insurrection. They can challenge members of Congress at local town meetings. They can hold meetings of their own. And sure, there's a touch of God Bless America playing in the background at those meetings. When the poor, the working poor, college students facing huge debts just to get an education, you don't have to set off a bomb in the public square, whether on the campus green or at Wall Street. You can occupy parks and greens, green spaces, and even legislative plaza steps on occasion, demanding the government listen to your grievances, that they address your petition. And perhaps a little Pete Seeger playing in the background. It's no coincidence, I think, that the most powerful and stable nation in the history of the world is also the most free. But of course the test of all of that comes when we're most divided. We live in, of course, very challenging times. People are demonstrating across the country. Government is pushing back. We're in the middle of an economic crisis. We hear from the right challenges of wasteful spending and huge deficits, cries of socialism. From the left, we hear that 99% are being ignored by the 1%. But it is a healthy thing that we debate. It is a healthy thing that we're out there talking. But given the tone of public discourse, you have to wonder, is this the most polarized as a nation we've ever been? I wonder if that's really the case. And I have to say, I remember another time of protest and politics and passion. And in this era, in this year, there are no easy answers. Maybe we could look at history for perspective. Not going all the way back to Thomas Jefferson and James Madison and those folks. Let's look back at the height of the Vietnam War and how our country dealt with that and how we had a conversation with ourselves. We talked to each other in many ways in song. You know, most wars actually have their own soundtrack, patriotic songs that inspire a nation. And the difference, of course, in Vietnam was that there were hit songs both for and against the war. In World War I and World War II, the American public was inspired by George M. Cohan's Over There. There really wasn't a song called Don't Go Over There. But in Vietnam, all that changed. Virtually every viewpoint could be heard in song.
Well, come on, all you big strong men. Uncle Sam needs your help again. He's got himself in a terrible jam. Way down yonder in Vietnam. So put down your books, pick up a gun. We're gonna have a whole lot of fun. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, don't give a damn. Next stop is Vietnam. And it's 5, 6, 7. Open up the pearly gate. Well, there ain't no time to wonder why. Whoopee, we're all gonna die.
The green